Well, I thought I was done with making videos for today, if I'm honest. But I went on YouTube, and turns out NigelFarage has taken calls on LBC radio, right? And this guy asks him what he thinks about the Epstein list. So, let's watch. Fucking hell. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Right there.
Safety online.
I couldn't agree more. And you're right. It is those suicide sites that this legislation was intended to stop. To monitor what people say, not we've ever seen from
Safety, and the sort of congestion, and I think this
front to free speech, but there is no free speech.
How concerned are you that they could be?
Oh yes,
You do. Okay.
threats and off.
Epstein file to Donald Trump. Good morning, Mr. Farage. Given your very close relationship to Donald Trump, and your frequent visits to the US over the past year, what's your view on Mr. Trump and his alleged links to the Epstein files, given the fact that you want to repeal an Online Safety Act?
I'm not quite sure I see the linkage, but
You know exactly the linkage, Nigel. You were just trying to be defensive, which was suspicious, to be fair. Because we have no reason to believe you are that kind of individual. We have no reason to believe you are that kind of man. Don't get me wrong, you might do some poor democratic decisions sometimes, but that doesn't mean you are the same kind of individual as Jeffrey Epstein. So why did you lie that you didn't know the connection? You did know the connection, Nigel. Don't lie to us.
look, I've no idea. I don't know any more than you do, David. I mean,
Should all the Epstein files be released?
well, that's up to them in America,
Well,
isn't
what's
it?
your view?
Well, I think they should. It's with Pam Bondi,
Yep.
his Attorney General.
It's weird how he now repeats the Trump lines.
I mean, the fact that Trump knew Epstein is not a shock. You know, Epstein was this huge New York figure for a very, very long time.
Did you meet Mr. Epstein?
No. No, I didn't. Had I been 10 years older, I would have done. Because
That seems to be the truth. I didn't detect deception or lying there. I could be wrong, but he doesn't seem to be lying. I don't think he knew Jeffrey Epstein. But he might have seen him, but knew him? Don't think so.
they were the circles
What has Mr. Trump said to you about Epstein?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We never discussed.
That I didn't believe.
They were the circles
What has Mr. Trump said to you about Epstein?
Nothing.
Yeah, I don't believe you, Nigel. I believed everything else you said before this until you said that.
Absolutely nothing. We've never discussed it. And let's be clear, David, he did not go to the island.
But how would you know that, Nigel? What, were you the fucking pilot on the plane that flew there? Were you on the gate checking the fucking names? How would Nigel know that Donald Trump never went to that island? How could he say that? He wasn't there. Like, how could he know that? He could not know that. I had this argument with my family all the time with what happened with me. Like, they were saying to me that something didn't happen. How would they know? They weren't there. But they were telling me what did or did not happen in a place they weren't. It doesn't make any sense. This is what happens when some people are either scared or brainwashed. So either Nigel is scared, I think he's scared, I don't think he's brainwashed, or he's brainwashed, but I think he's scared. But I had the same argument with my family. Like, how could he know that Donald Trump never went to Epstein Island? How? Considering him and Epstein literally called him his best friend. Literally called him his best friend.
Another former American president
And NigelFarage called Donald Trump his close friend.
was a frequent visitor.
And there he goes, trying to slag off the other parties. That's Donald Trump's rival. So he's sucking up to Donald. So is this the kind of leader you all want in the UK? Someone who's going to literally fucking kiss Donald Trump's arse? Is that what you want? Someone who's a bitch to America? Is that what you want? Because that's what Nigel did to himself when he got the EU, and it wanted to make Brexit happen. Where did he go to get the financial support? America. Whose bitch did he make himself? America's. And now you want to vote in a prime minister who's America's bitch. We don't need a puppet leader of America in this country. That's what he is. He's a puppet leader. America are trying to install their own leader in the UK. It's Farage. Right? Yous are all idiots. Yous are fucking idiots.
Why not just release all the files then, Mr. Farage?
Well, listen, our government.
Just vote me in as prime minister. Just vote me in as prime minister. Simple. A vote for Pope is a vote for hope. Got the slogan already worked out, you see.
Doesn't release all sorts of files. I suspect they will. And I think this is.
I suspect they will release a redacted copy, and then another copy will get released, and they will claim that one that was released, that was the unredacted one, is fake, and their one is the real one, and then everyone will claim that the one that was unredacted is the real one, and the Trump one that was released is fake. That's what's going to happen. Come on.
It's one area where.
But he could end it overnight, couldn't he?
Yeah, it's one area where Donald has sort of put himself into conflict with much of his own base. So I think probably he'll have to.
And what time period?
I've no idea.
Let's go to other calls. Layla, thank you, David. Layla's in up in Edmonton. Layla, you're on the radio. Hello.
Let's see what the next call is then, because it might be a good one. But that's kind of the only reason I want to do the video, to see his reaction to the Epstein files thing, because with him being a close friend to Donald Trump, it's a great interest to me. And the fact that he's like the American puppet politician in the UK, it's a very dodgy situation for me. 90% of the British public would never even know what was going on. Like, I was saying Rolf Harris was an offender when he was head of the NSPCC, and people would call me a moron, call me stupid, say I'm insane. He's the head of the children's charity that protects children. Are you fucking stupid? And I'd be like, he sings about his third leg to children and children alone, and has done that for over 10 years. He doesn't sing about his third leg to adults, does he? So it was obvious to me, and it's obvious to me that Nigel knows more than he's let on there. And the fact that he's close friends with Donald Trump, and the fact that Epstein calls Donald Trump his best pal, nah. That's enough for me to just say, nah.
Hi, so I want to say that if you're raising the income tax threshold to 20 grand, that's going to cost 50 to 80 billion a year. And if you're raising the higher rate of income tax to 70k, that's going to cost 18 billion a year. And two-child benefit cap, that's going to cost 3.4 billion.
Really?
Winter fuel, that's going to cost 1.5 billion. But looking at
She's certainly done her numbers.
the savings, cutting asylum hotels, that will save 4 billion. DEI, that will save 7 billion. OBR says net zero will save 20 billion.
Okay.
And also it creates jobs. And it's not good for us.
I think,
Well,
honestly,
you're
people are
very
dying
well-
under a blizzard of figures,
Yeah.
Layla. Can I move you to your question? I do want to hear your question, but
Yeah, but my question
Your
is
sums
that the
don't
numbers
add up.
don't add up, because if we're talking about introducing the two-child benefit, winter...
Yeah, no politicians' figures will add up, because the fact of the matter is they're either going to raise taxes or increase debt. Them are the only two choices any politician who takes power has, unless you voted for a politician like me, who wants national industry, who thinks that we need to work our way out of this problem by profit. We need national industry operating in the private sector, because we have allowed the private sector to operate in the public sector. So what we need to balance out all the books and to solve a lot of problems is we need a British industry owned by the taxpayers operating in the private sector. We need to pick a fucking lane and drive. Pick a lane and drive. America's picked the lanes of weapons, right? Russia picked the lane of energy. China picked the lane of technology. What lane are you all going to pick? Because I think we need to pick the lane of energy. We have so much bad weather in this country. I know you all hate green energy because your TV's convinced you that green energy's the devil. Woo! Green energy! Woo! No! Not green energy! Oh no! I know you all hate it, but like, you can harness the power of nature to make energy, okay? Solar energy, wind, water. Like, you don't actually need to burn things to get a steam engine going, to turn a magnet around, and like a turbine. You can do that with like a magnetic levitation track. You can do it with biofuel. Like literally, we could turn our shit that we put down the toilet into money. We could have water turbines in every drainage and sewage system up and down the country. So every time it rains, it's snowing, you have a cup of tea, a bath, or run the tap. The country's making money. The taxpayer is making money. Every time it snows, making money. Every time it's windy or sunshine, we're making money. And we could power the entire country's future with that. Pay off our national debt, like lower our own energy costs, create energy independence, and sell the excess energy to the continent and the world at a reduced cost because we're producing it tax exempt. Because it's owned by the taxpayer. It's not a private company, so it doesn't have to pay taxes. A publicly owned, tax-owned company should not have to pay taxes. So we would be able to produce energy at retail cost 20%, maybe even more, cheaper than the private companies. So we could undercut them. And we're not making a loss. It's all profit, baby. Like, this country just needs to pick a lane and fucking go with it. Because the lane you have all picked is not working. We've crashed. So sort it out. Sort it out.